Hi there, and welcome to Steps Together, the Steps for Development podcast, where we come together to learn and build our own skills so that we can help the children in our lives to thrive and succeed. I'm your host, Deb Johnson, and I'm so glad you're here. No matter what your role is in a child's life, you're in the right place to learn about child development and kids who are differently wired. Here, you'll learn about the whys behind challenging behavior, practical strategies that really make a difference, and how to advocate for and support all children as you become empowered with tools and skills that bring lasting change. Today's episode is part 3 of our holiday series. If you haven't already listened to the other episodes, I encourage you either before you listen here or after you listen to today's episode, go back and catch episode 19. The title is Creating Calm Out of Chaos, How Being Proactive Will Save the Season. And then part 2 is episode 20, Holding Your Ground with Heart, Navigating Opinions and Advice. Those two, combined with today's episode, should give you plenty of insight and awareness and strategies to help you get through the end of the year holiday season with a whole lot more calm and peace. Today's episode is realistic, regulated, and rested. It's all about aligning your expectations for both yourself and your child with what is appropriate for you and your child and your family in order to bring a calmer sense of peace and enjoyment and just good times through the holidays instead of power struggles and dealing with all of those could-haves, would-haves, should-haves, all those social pressures that come. So we're going to talk about 5 areas for your child that you want to focus on your expectations. And then we're going to shift and talk about 5 areas for you to focus on expectations for yourself. Having realistic expectations is so very important. And it does a lot of different things for us. Number one, it creates a grounded, positive mindset. It just sets the stage for what we realistically should expect so that we aren't having our expectations set so high that there's no way that we can meet them. It's going to help you release those shoulds and all that social pressure that you might feel at this time, and reduce your stress as well as your child's stress. And more importantly, setting realistic expectations, achievable outcomes, is going to support your regulation, your ability to co-regulate with your child, your ability to connect with your child and other members of your family. And it's just going to increase your confidence that you are going into these sometimes very difficult situations armed and ready, grounded and calm, collected and confident. So let's dive right in to talk about the 5 areas I want you to focus on when it comes to aligning expectations with what is right for your child. Number 1 is, what is your child's capacity for regulation? It's very important that you understand the limits that your child has and how they react to different situations. What kinds of input, emotional, sensory, physical, social, all those different ways that we receive information. What kind of input in those areas for your child is calming and organizing versus what is more escalating and likely to cause some problems? You want to know the difference for your child between how badly they want to participate versus what capacity they actually have. And this can be a really hard piece to navigate for your child. We want them to participate. And when your child really wants to be part of, say, a group activity, but you know deep down that this group activity at the end of a long day, after having all kinds of other social activities, sensory input, and just overwhelming experiences, you know that that experience is just going to be too much. That can be really tricky because it feels like you're letting your child down. But I guarantee you there are ways to talk to your child to help them to navigate through that, to help them see all the positives and the great experiences they are having, and then to maybe offer something in exchange. I know it hurts to miss this. I know it's sad that we aren't going here, but look what we are going to do at home, to pull from their strengths, their interests, their passions, and give them something that is more calming and regulating when you have to replace something they really wanted to participate in. And you can align your expectations with what their capacities are by recognizing the signs of the overload and being ready to pivot. Bring in your superflex and be ready to make changes. Be ready to see the tells. What are the signs that your child is showing you that they've hit their capacity and you need to shift, right? You're ready for it because you already listened to my other episode about being proactive. And so you're going to be prepared for overload. You're going to have a plan for when you need to pivot. And you're going to be expecting some variation from day to day and even during the day from hour to hour. And you're going to be expecting the unexpected. You're going to be prepared for what might come in that could just suddenly overwhelm your child. The second area that I want you to think about is how does your child manage in terms of time and transitions? So, what is the length of time that they can really spend in a social setting or in a group setting? What is the duration of time that they can realistically handle being away from home, away from their grounded setting, their place of quiet and calm? What do you need to do in terms of giving them some previews? Do you need to give them some advanced preparation? And if so, how far in advance? And what is the number of repetitions of that preparation that they're going to need? You need to build in that time for that preparation so that your child doesn't come across things that are unexpected. Think about the transitions. What does your child need to transition? Some activities are going to require more time to sort of come back down, to de-escalate. It might be that it's joyful escalation, but it's escalation nonetheless. And if you're going to have to then transition to a quieter time, like going from, I don't know, meeting Santa and being at a big party to having to sit quietly at a dinner table, well, you need to plan a buffer, a time in there that is going to be a transition time to help your child wind down. So think about that and be prepared and align your expectations realistically in terms of how long can we stay at events, how many events can we include in this time frame, and how much time do we realistically need for those transitions. Number 3 for your child is the social and behavioral demands of the events, the activities, the day, the week, whatever it is. How many interactions are they going to have? How many new or unfamiliar people are they going to be seeing? What are greetings going to be looking like? How many demands are you going to put on them to say hello to so-and-so? What is the amount of physical contact that you're going to be expecting from them? Make sure it aligns with their capacity for touch and physical contact. Make sure that your expectations in terms of manners and their verbal communication, that's going to align with what they are developmentally capable of. especially during stressful times. Recognize that their ability to come out with language or to follow scripted scenarios, right? Using scripted language that you've rehearsed or adhering to certain kinds of manners, please and thank you, those kinds of things. Recognize that some of that's going to go out the window because they're going to have so much stress coming at them from other areas of this participation. So cut them a little bit of slack and align those expectations appropriately. You want to consider, in terms of social demands, what are the group expectations? What can your child realistically manage in a larger group setting where what we say the environment is very complex? And so in that complex environment, noisy, crowded settings, maybe there's a lot of sensory input. What can they realistically handle in terms of time and the social interactions? How does their ability to share and take turns, how does that change in those complicated settings? And what kinds of supports can you give them? Align those expectations realistically. Be prepared for potentially having to leave a situation. Maybe it's the gift exchange or some sort of fun game activity that's been planned for the family. And you just know that your child isn't going to be able to manage it well, or you're going to go into it prepared for them not managing it well and knowing how to stay grounded, make a very non-intimidating, non-defensive remark back to your family and say, we just need to step away right now. Thanks for inviting us. Thank you for having us. This just has proven to be too much for my child. So be prepared for those expectations from family in these situations. Be prepared and realistic in what their reactions might be, and stay grounded in your own values and your commitment to the holidays for what is right for you and your child, even when other people aren't understanding it. The fourth area for your child is expectations regarding their sensory processing capacities. I want you to be prepared for how your child might react to clothing sensitivities. A lot of times we're asking children to wear completely different clothing at holiday time or to certain events. Please consider just letting your child wear their favorite sweatpants and their favorite t-shirt. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they're wearing if what you value is their participation and their regulation. Same thing with foods. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they ate Grandma Bess's special green bean casserole or not. What matters is that they were at the table enjoying the meal with the family, even if all they ate were their crackers. So, and think about how can you maybe ask family to modify the environment, whether that's putting your child at a different table, maybe it means a separate room, quieter setting, lower lights, quiet music, background noise. Maybe it's asking people to not talk too much at dinner time, making some accommodations so that your child is able to participate if that's what's most important to you and your family. There's also the expectation of should they be at the table or not. And maybe it's more realistic to say, I'm going to feed my child before or after everyone else eats, because that's what helps my child stay regulated, and it's going to make the whole thing smoother for everyone involved. And make sure that when you head into events, especially things where you're going to someone else's home, that you have the equipment and the accommodations ready. Maybe have a backpack so that you have their headphones, their fidget toys, their favorite snacks. Maybe you've got some sensory items like a weighted blanket, things that are ready for your child. And so that your expectation is that your child is going to need some of those things. And then the last area to consider for your child is all of those, what we should do, right? The shoulds that we impose on family times around holidays with traditions and our routines and our rituals. The first thing I ask you to do is to maybe realistically look at what is outdated or just inappropriate for your child. I want you to consider what you value over what you do. And by that, what I mean is maybe it's most important that everyone is together and that everyone share the day or share the meal or share the gift exchange. Maybe it's certain things that are most important to you and your family. That is absolutely where you want to put your focus. You want to focus on what really matters for you, your family, and your child. What do you see as the success? Is it that we were all in the same room at mealtime? Then don't worry about whether your child eats or not. Just focus on keeping your child in the room. And maybe that means they sit on your lap for the whole meal, even if they're 8 years old. Because what's most important is that they be there present with you. Maybe it's the enjoyment that you want to see the joy on your child's face, and they aren't able to open their own presents, but they love watching everybody else open presents, and they get into their stimming and they're happy, right? Maybe they're flappy and happy, and they're just enjoying the moment. If you value that, then don't worry about the fact that your child didn't open their gifts, but that they were present during the gift exchange and they enjoyed it. They were happy. You want to make sure that you're measuring success by seeing them participate at the level that is right for them, what meets their capacities, and at a level where there's no major meltdowns. And if there are some little outbursts, they recover quickly. You have your tools and you get them back where they need to be. And above all, focus on the memories that you can make and avoiding the power struggles. So connection over compliance should be your expectation. All right, now let's pivot and talk about how can you align your expectations for yourself with what's going to really happen and the holiday time. So number one is your own capacity for regulation, your own bandwidth for what you can accomplish. So think about your energy level, think about your emotional regulation, your own executive function skills. Maybe you yourself are neurodiverse and you need to make some accommodations so that you're not overstretching yourself. And instead of baking 100 batches of cookies, you're just going to do 2 or 3. Maybe you're going to skip certain things that have always been a tradition or ritual for yourself when you were growing up, but they just aren't realistic for your child. You just can't cram all that in. You really need to be looking ahead at your own work schedule, your own to-do list, and be realistic about what you can accomplish. Maybe identify the 1 or 2 or 3 most important things for yourself, and then anything else that you get done is just, it's gravy on top of it all if you get that stuff done. And give yourself a big pat on the back for getting the most important things done. The second area that I want you to focus on for yourself is the realities of how much you can do by yourself and how much you can rely on a support system. When it is at all possible, please pull on a support system and find someone that you can share those responsibilities with. Try not to carry all the responsibilities for this holiday season on your shoulders. And if you have to, if you're a single parent, if you're on your own, It's okay. You can do this. You just need to align the expectations for the traditions and the rituals and the routines within what your bandwidth can support. Wherever possible, delegate. Delegate things out. Let go of doing it all and being the one that carries it all. Communicate your needs and what you want to do, what you want others to do, and communicate it early and effectively so that you're not becoming defensive when you're really stressed and angry that somebody didn't do something when you didn't really even realistically reach out and ask that they do that. Set boundaries about what you will not take on, that I'm just not going to do this, and let family and friends know that this is your limit. It's okay to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. And when you delegate it, let go. Do not micromanage it. It's okay to say, I'd like you to do this activity or this task for me. I'm going to put you in charge of it. And I do hope that you can do it this way. But if you can't, that's all right. I will accept whatever way you do it because I appreciate your help. Right. Number 3 in what you're going to align your expectations around is your own family dynamics. Get very real about what you can expect. What is likely to happen with your family? How can you manage those expectations for the way people will accept your child and your parenting style and the boundaries you put on? How can you stay rooted in what matters to you and your values and be prepared for Uncle Joe's opinion if he's going to criticize you? Giving yourself permission to set those boundaries if you can. But I think also focusing on the relationship and that you don't want to argue and get into power struggles with your extended family or your immediate family. What you want is to build that relationship with them and wherever possible, build the relationship between them and your child. So wherever you can, be supportive and advocating for them, but at the same time, don't be afraid to set those boundaries and give yourself permission to leave or to modify or to just say no to something that isn't true to what you need to do. The 4th area I want you to focus on for yourself is your own regulation and your recovery time. Plan breaks for yourself. What do you need to do to separate, to get away, to recover from all the overwhelm that you're going to experience this season? Protect your sleep and your rest to whatever extent possible. Make sure you have someone that you can co-regulate with. Who's your go-to person? Who is your person who grounds you? Maybe it's your partner. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's a child who's an adult, right? One of your adult children. Maybe it's a friend, a coworker. Find a person and maybe even just set it up ahead of time and say, hey, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, is it okay if I occasionally text you or call you? Will you just help me stay grounded? Will you let me vent without offering advice or trying to fix it? I just kind of need to vent, and you don't have to answer except to say, I'm sorry, that stinks. And that'll be enough. And then ground yourself in gratitude and joy. Don't forget to notice all the joyfulness. Take pleasure in your child's smiles and the times of regulation and connection, right? Hold on to those, because even when there's bad times and things go south, as I say, you're still going to be able to recover and come back. Tomorrow is a new day. So your own regulation, protect it, take care of it, and give yourself time to recover. And the last area, number 5, that I want you to set realistic expectations for is the perfect holiday. And I'm going to say this about that. Let it go. There is no such thing as a perfect holiday. So let it go. Stuff's going to go wrong. Things are going to go south. Stuff is going to happen that you didn't expect. Something isn't going to be available at the store. Something you cook is going to burn. Something you bake isn't going to come out right. Just let it go. Shift from everything needing to be perfect to enjoying the process, enjoying being present, just experiencing the moment. If you can, see the world from your child's eyes, right? I don't know, lay underneath the tree and look at the lights, from the bottom up. And, just enjoy looking and studying the details of the decorations or the experiences that other people are having, and feel the joy so that you can co-regulate and just be present for the celebration. Make space for some very authentic child-centered activities and enjoyment throughout the holiday season. Let your child lead and see this time through your child's eyes. So I really hope that this holiday season, you are going to be able to align your expectations with the child who is in your life, not the child that other people expect. Align expectations with your own capacities, what's realistic, not some ideal version of yourself that you wish you could be. Just embrace your imperfection and your vulnerability. Everyone thrives when the pressure drops and flexibility increases. So I'm going to leave you with these words to encourage you to enjoy this holiday season by giving yourself permission to simplify things, permission to pivot when things are not going well, and permission to redefine what a successful, happy holiday is going to look like for you and your child. So as you approach this holiday season, identify at least one expectation for you and your child that you think you could adjust. And I wish you nothing but joy and gratitude and happy moments and much, much, much connection with your child and all those who are important in your life. I encourage you, if you haven't yet, to go back and catch those other episodes 19 and 20, parts 1 and 2 of navigating this holiday season with neurodiversity and finding the joy. And I am really hopeful that you are finding these podcasts very helpful for you. I hope they've given you some encouragement and some insight. And if you're enjoying them, I do hope you'll share them with others who might enjoy them and benefit from what I'm sharing. Be sure to follow me on social media, sign up for my newsletter. I send out tips every week or so. And if you would like, reach out to me for some one-on-one support. I would love to connect and hear your successes and guide you through challenging times. You can always reach me directly at Deborah@stepsfordevelopment.com. On the podcasts, you can now also send me a text message. I can't reply directly to those texts, but if you send me a text, let me know what you thought of the episode, make suggestions for future episodes. And if you ask me a question, I'll include it in a future episode. So thanks again for joining me today. And again, best wishes for a joyful and peaceful holiday season. Bye for now.